Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be doing a repair and restoration video on this vintage Craftsman shop vac. Well, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Glad you could join me again. Hey, if you're new to the channel, how about hitting that subscribe button so you get notified of all future videos I produce, whether they be DIY projects, restoration videos, repair videos, whatever they may be. I'm always looking out for ways to help out you guys, so I know you'll find it useful. And remember to hit that bell and hit all notifications or you won't get notified. Anyway, so today's video is going to be a repair and restoration video. And the funny thing is, the other day I came across this shop vac. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've been dealing with shop vacs for over 40 years, and I have never seen a shop vac like this one. This is a vintage Sears Roebuck Craftsman portable shop vac and vac blower, as it says on there. It's a wet-dry shop vac, basically, to put it quite simply, and it's really quite unique and quite interesting just due to the shape of it. I mean, it's your basic shop vac. It does the same thing as every other shop vac. It is not unique in that respect, but I mean, come on, look at it. Look at this shape. It looks like a suitcase. It does not look like a shop vac. When I first saw this, I thought it was just a suitcase somebody was tossing out. And then I saw the cord coming out of the back and I go, wait a minute. There's something going on here that I better take a look at. And it really is quite an interesting unit. I mean, you can see it has a handle, or a strap, I should say. It has a handle for carrying it and a strap attached to it as well. So I imagine you could hang it off your shoulder and use it as a blower to clean out your shop, your garage, whatever the case may be. So it's quite interesting and innovative if you really stop and think about it. Let me give you some more shots of it so you can see a little bit better what's going on here. All right, so let me bring it in a little closer for you. As you can see, as your basic shop vac, you have your strap that you can hang it over your shoulder so you can carry it around and blow out the garage. The inlet is right here. Like it says right there, vacuum. It says vacuum right there. This is the inlet. This is the outlet. So that's the side that blows out air in case you need to, blow out your shop. It is quite filthy. It says right there, 2 horsepower peak, 165 miles per hour blowing capacity. They really wanted you to know how fast the air comes out of there. So they were quite proud of that, I imagine. Anyway, it has the model number and everything here. The interesting thing about it was, this is vintage, I don't know, I'm thinking late 70s, maybe early to mid 80s, somewhere around there. I have never seen a unit like this. If any of you have seen something like this, or have one, or know anything about it, I'd love it if you put something down in the comments down below, because I have never come across a unit like this. I did some searching on the internet, trying to find out when it sold, what it sold for, anything I could tell you guys about it. And I really could not find anything about it doing a search. I found one guy that had one old one that he was selling, and he was selling it for 70 bucks on eBay. That is all I could find. I could find the filters. I could get the replacement filters for it. No problem there. Plenty of results for that. But the unit itself, I could not find any kind of a manual on it. I was really curious what the time period was that this was selling at Sears. From, 81 to 85, whatever it was. I don't know. I really have no clue. So if any of you really have any information on this, put it in the comments. I really, really want to know where this originated, where it came from, anything about it, really. Somebody threw this out the other day. Like I said, it's an interesting design shop vac. Very, very different. You can see the cord goes down here. It has a little indentation or wrapped a cord around the bottom of it. Has wheels so you can roll it around. You can see the wheels right there. And the switch is up here. And the switch was pulled out like this when I found it. Let me pan up. The switch was pulled out like that when I found it. It is obviously broken. Somebody tried to repair it and they couldn't figure it out. Let me get you a little closer and I'll show you better. Okay, here's a better shot of the switch for you guys, and as you can see, somebody broke off the top of the switch. There was obviously a toggle switch, and you can't toggle it anymore because they broke it off. So I guess they decided to take it out of there and see if they could fix it, and they couldn't figure it out. I don't know why they even bothered if their repair abilities were really that limited, because this is quite simple to replace. Now, one thing I'll point out, in case you guys come across something like this is a little different than most switches. So let me point this out in case you ever come across something like this. This is quite easy to repair or replace. I mean, the switch is obviously no good, so it's going to be a replacement. But the only confusing part here would be this thing. And this is a little resistor, which is, I put it together so you could understand how it's supposed to go. But when I found it, it was like that, split apart. I don't know if they broke it taking it out or if it burned up and broke by itself. I don't know what happened there. But all that is a little resistor. And the only thing that's going on here is all you need is two wires, your neutral and your hot wire, positive wire, whatever you want to call it. So your hot and neutral, that's all you need to run this shop vac. But apparently they wanted to be a little bit more creative with this, and this is a three-way switch. That's the only thing I can think about, because there is no need to reverse the polarity on this, no need whatsoever. Because like you said, one side is air inlet, the other side is air outlet. So the way this switch works, all I can imagine is the toggle had three positions. The center was off, one side was on, the other side was on. So it was on, off, on. That's the three ways it worked. So this basically was a resistor causing the power to go from one side to the other, allowing for the two ends to be on. And the center was probably off. So this is, like I said, a broken resistor right here. And if you really, really, really wanted to go to the trouble of replacing it, you can, but it's completely unnecessary. I will replace this with another switch, and the motor still works. I already checked it. If you're ever curious to see if the motor works, because the switch is obviously no good, all you got to do is jumper the wires between the two. Everything will be instantly on. So, you know, all you're doing is bypassing the switch, causing it to be on permanently. So that's not a good situation. But you just wrap some wire between the two and don't touch it, because you might get electrocuted. So be very, very careful when you're doing that. A little bit of wire and you'll know if a motor works, and then undo it and get yourself a proper switch. But that is a quick way to test and see before you go any further, is the motor any good? So I already tested it. The motor does work. The switch is the problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to restore this case and everything, make it all look nice and neat and clean, and replace the switch. Let me back up a little bit. I'll show you more. So as you can see, the case is really quite filthy, dirty, disgusting, and I'm sure it's quite nasty inside. I'll open it up for you and show you, but we're going to clean this up and make it look like brand new. Now, to open it up, you basically pull right here, you separate it, you pull it out on this side and on the other side, you spread the parts out, and then the top comes off. Let me show you. And it wants to fight me. There we go. And that is how it looks inside. You can see it's quite disgusting. So I have to clean all this mess out of here and make it look like new inside. Now, like I was saying, as far as replacing the switch, that's really quite simple. All you have to do is get yourself another toggle switch, and anything will do quite easily to repair it. I mean, I keep a lot of toggle switches. Here's my little parts bin of old switches that I keep lying around for whenever projects like this come around. I have a whole bin full of switches, so whenever I tear something apart that I'm going to throw away, I take off the switches and so forth and keep them. And this would be easy enough to replace with any kind of switch, any kind of a toggle switch. A simple toggle switch like this would do just fine. Anything that'll fit into the area. This is only a two-way switch, on-off, unlike that one, which is a three-way, but we're not going to go with that because I just don't see a purpose to it. Fortunately enough, I have one that is identical to the one that was there. It's only a two-way switch, as you can see, but I really don't need a three-way switch. This probably came off another vacuum that I junked at some point, maybe a rigid or something like that, and this is what I'm going to use to replace it. Let me get you a little closer here so you can see the kind of switch I'm using. I don't know if the camera will focus on it or not. Okay, here's a shot of the switch so you can see exactly what it is that we're going to be using it for, to replace it for, I mean. So you can see exactly the specifications that we're using. And this is pretty much the same switch that's already in there, except it's a two-way instead of a three-way. So there you go. Alright, so what we're going to do is, I'm going to take this outside, I'm going to clean it up with some soap and water, make it look like brand new, and then I'll bring it back inside here once it dries, and we'll go from there. I don't think I need to show you how to clean something with some soap and water. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, so I'll bring you back when that's done. And by the way, if you look back over there, see that old broken compressor back there? That's another project that I have for another video down the road. So keep an eye out for future videos where I restore and bring back that old pancake compressor. Okay guys, so here we have it through the magic of editing. It's a few hours later. I took this baby outside, I cleaned it really well with some soap and water, let it dry, and when I finished, the plastic was a little bit chalky looking because it is old, and it did have a little bit of paint splatter. Apparently it was in a room when somebody was doing some painting or something, so it did have some paint splatter, and it looked okay. But, you know, if you want to make your things look the best they can, I'll give you a little secret that a lot of people won't share with you. If you want to have an older item, plastic in this case, but it works for many different things, and you want to restore it and make it look the best that it can after you're done, after you've cleaned it the best you can, and you've let it dry thoroughly, go through and give it a spray with clear spray. Just clear. That's all you need. Get a can of clear spray, spray it over the whole surface, let it dry thoroughly, and it'll make the plastic item or whatever it is, it'll make it pop. It'll make it look like brand new. Like in this case that you can see right in front of you. And you can spray it over the labels, the stickers, pretty much everything. When it dries, it just becomes a clear plastic coating over whatever surface you put it on, and it protects it, and it makes it look a heck of a lot better. So this item looks practically new, just like when people went to Sears buying this item. So the only thing we need to do now, I already cleaned out the inside and everything, and I cleaned out the filter and all that stuff. The filter was still good, so all I needed basically was just brush it off and put it back on, so I don't need a brand new filter. It looks perfectly fine. Doesn't look that old actually. So basically it's all cleaned up and ready to go, and the only thing we need to do now is replace that broken switch. So let's get in there and take care of that. Okay, and under normal circumstances, I would need to pull this switch out of the housing or open up the housing to get at the switch, whatever the case may be. Some way, somehow, I would normally need to pull this out. But in this case, the previous owners were kind enough to pull it out for me and leave it pulled out, so it saves me a bit of time and trouble. Now, all you need basically, hold on, let me cut this off. We're not going to need that anymore. We don't need this resistor, so I'm going to cut off this little tag right here. That's going to go away. I don't need to worry about it anymore. This one will go away with the switch. I don't care. All we need are these two wires to make the repair, because this switch only has two prongs to it. Now check the wires to see what direction you want this to go. This switch does not have an on-off to it. It can go on-off either direction that you want. So if you're really a picky person and you want to choose what direction for it to go on or off, then check the wires to make sure which one gives you what you need to do. I personally don't care. Whatever direction, on-off, it doesn't really matter. So pull off the wires here. And these guys are really stuck in here. There we go. They're both pulled off. And you just reattach them onto here. There we go. And before we put it back in, it is a good idea to test it, make sure there's nothing wrong with the switch. I'm pretty sure it's good, but just to be safe and save a lot of trouble, let me plug this in and make sure it works. Okay, so I have it plugged in, and now we're just going to make sure that the switch actually works. And be careful, do not touch the wires. They are live. You don't want to hurt yourself or electrocute or get a nasty shock, whatever. Touch the switch only on the plastic part up here, the plastic housing, where you won't get hurt. And then we find out, does it work? Yes, it does. It works perfectly fine. It keeps sucking in the strap because it has good suction to it. It's a very, very good unit. Here we go. So it works perfectly fine. So now, again, if you're a very picky person, you can put it this way or flip it around and put it this way. It doesn't really matter, wherever the direction you want on-off to be. Me personally, I don't care. I'm just going to put it in there. And there you go. Let me pull you in. There you go. Now you see the switch in its position. It's all done, all taken care of. And it blows and it blows out the backside, and it has good suction on this side, no problem whatsoever. I did not get the vacuum hoses that come with the unit. I just got the unit bare all by itself like that. But it's not a problem because the hose connections are the same as a standard shop vac. So I can use the hoses that I already have for my current shop vac. No problem at all. They all fit pretty much standard. The only ones I think are a little bit different are the Rigid brand. They're the ones that are a bit larger. But most shop vacs use the same hoses. So when I've had one go bad, I just hang on to it for future use. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, this restoration and repair of the Sears Craftsman portable shop vac blower, a vintage model from, I don't know, back in the 80s, I guess. Somebody maybe will chime in and tell me when this item was manufactured. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that subscribe button so you get notified of future videos I produce. And if you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. Really appreciate it when you do that. Hope to talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.